All right, we're tapping in. Welcome to Motivation Monday. This is a new series I'm going to start launching every Monday, dropping a video. And it's called Motivation Monday, the producer edition. Okay, so welcome to Motivation Monday, where we help inspire and encourage music producers just like yourself. Okay, help inspire and encourage music producers just like you and help them to grow mentally. Okay, so I wanted to put this together because I talk about this stuff all the time. I live it. Right, it's a process. Okay, don't catch me wrong. I'm not perfect, but this is something that it's my calling. Right, it's a calling, and I notice in the community we do a lot of work in the studio. Right, we work all the time in the studio. There's a lot of things that are implemented in the studio. Like, let's get this. Let's learn this. Let's learn how to do that. Right, but we're lacking at the community. Just all of us, myself included, we're lacking the real work, which is up here, right? Everything flows from your mind. Everything, right? So how you're feeling, it starts up here first, right? We don't just start feeling emotions out of nowhere. We process those things, and then we have emotion, we have feelings towards it, right? So it's so important as producers that we have a space where we can grow, and I wanted to make that space, right? So this is like an introduction, and I'll be doing these every Monday, and we'll just be covering some small topics, nothing crazy. The videos won't be super long, but I'll be covering a few topics or one topic each week, and just going from there. I don't have stuff written out, or this is not edited down. This is basically like just a live recording, right? And it is what it is, right? So just want to make sure everything's good. Got my coffee, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's late, but I don't care. It is what it is. Got it. So let's talk about the topic for today is habits. Habits. We're gonna talk about that. I wrote a few things down. I ain't gonna lie, because I was feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Habits, though. So comment habits in the chat, or not in the chat, but down below this video, okay? And one of you guys might win something free or something. I might just give away something. Put habits in the under the video description. All right, in the comment section. I want to talk about this today because this is something I've been like implementing, not even just in like my music career, but also just personally, right? And it's important that we build habits, and we actually have implement those habits. Like, it doesn't have to be something crazy, but we actually do them. And here's why: because your habits go everywhere you go. They go everywhere. You could be in a whole nother country. You could be doing something else. You could be at work. We're talking about music production, right? So it doesn't matter what you're doing. Your habits go with you, right? And the reality is our habits dictate your future. That's just what it is. Your habits literally dictate where you're going to be at. In short, you know what I mean? Of course, there's other outside factors, but let's just call it what it is. Your habits literally are going to dictate where you're going to be in the next couple of years. It's where you are now is not because of what you're doing now. It's what you already did. Like, man, I'm telling you, I'm serious. Like, this is a word. If you don't hear me, then I really need you to hear this. You know what I'm saying? And I know people are like, oh, habits, whatever. Just, you should have good habits. Like, people throw this word around all the time. Habits. But we don't really think of it as building blocks. You know what I'm saying? We don't, when's the last time I've ever thought of it like you've ever thought of it like that? Like building blocks, right? So habits, they're just important. They're basically everything. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it's funny because the first thing somebody says, somebody would say to me, not first thing, but something I heard this week, I should say, was, oh yeah, next year it'll be better. We were talking about something. It doesn't really matter what we were talking about, so it's pretty much irrelevant. He tells me next year things are gonna be a lot better. How? How are things next year going to be better for you? All right, this is a question for you now. How is next year going to be better for you? if you're not working now, preparing now? What habits are you setting up so next year it will be different? Stuff only changes next year when you change stuff now. You're not going to see, it's a reap and sow. That's just how it goes. You reap, you sow. Right? When you put in the ground, it sprouts and you see the results. So what you're seeing now from yourself and your results, the things you're seeing now happened already. When you started doing stuff, when you started building habits, whether that's spending time in the studio, working on beats every day, or doing like a beat challenge, like, a beat a day challenge, or whatever it is, building with artists. All of those things, they've already happened, and you're seeing the benefits of those things, or you're seeing, the not so good things about what you put in the ground. It could be negative things, or lack of focus, or lack of discipline, right? I'm talking to myself too. I'm like, okay. My lack of focus these last couple weeks, I'm seeing those, I'm seeing what that presented now, right? I could see it. Like, oh yeah, man, I didn't do this last week, so the video's not out. I didn't do this last week, so I didn't get to really, launch my course. Like, that's on a smaller scale, but think of it on a larger macro scale, right? Habits, your habits. One of my favorite books that I just finished up not too long ago was Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits. I can barely say that word. And think about it. It's small little habits that make an atomic effect, right? And that's kind of the summary of what the book was about. It's about building small habits, tiny increments. Not, for example, like you play the piano, you want to learn the piano. Oh, I'm going to practice an hour a day every day. Come on, fam. You're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. Majority of people, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to sit there and say that's not going to happen. Let me backtrack on that, right? Most likely that's not going to happen. Most likely you're not going to want to do that. Like, who really wants to do that, right? So I think the key to building habits is smaller habits, smaller building blocks, right? So I'm going to practice 10 minutes a day. Then I'm going to do this 10 minutes a day. Then I'm going to do this 10 minutes a day. That compound, the consistency is what's going to yield the results. Not how long you've been like, oh, I practiced for an hour. Or I practiced for 3 hours, right? And this is a challenge I have with piano. If you didn't already kind of get the gist there, but that's something I'm struggling with. It's like, okay, I got to practice piano every day, but I don't need to do like 30, 40 minutes. I need to do 15 minutes. That's it. Get in front of the piano, 15 minutes, boom. That's it. Right? So the habits, that's clear what we're talking about today. Habits, right? So what habits are you building? And which ones have you, said, man, I haven't done that in a long time. Like, I've only done that a couple times this week, or last month or so, I've only sat down at the piano once or twice, or whatever it is. The piano is just one example, right? What habits are you neglecting? What habits do you need to reignite, basically, and just start putting them into practice daily? What are those things? Honestly, a great tip: get a notepad, or get get your phone. If you got you don't have to have an iPhone, but I know iPhone has notes. I'm sure Android has like a notes app or whatever, and put like the things you need to get done daily. So I have like a daily habits folder, and then I have like each one bulleted out, and it'll tell you, okay, do this, read, do this, right? That's it. I'm not saying you gotta be perfect, and every day, if I don't do it, then I'm screwed. That's not the point. But you're gonna see, okay, I gotta get this done. Like you're creating the habits, which is creating your future, right? So that's like the biggest thing I want to talk about today. Habits. What kind of habits are you building? Are you even thinking about habits you're building, or are you just kind of like generalizing things? Oh, I just need to be in the studio, and I know that was me. Oh, I just need to be in here. I'll figure it out. No. I need to have things I'm gonna knock out. Everything else is fine. Like you can enjoy yourself in the studio, do what you gotta do, but you gotta have your habits. You gotta have your things you're gonna knock out every day. That's gonna help you compound what you're trying to get to, your goal, right? That's it. For example, I do a 10-minute beat challenge every day, and I get on the piano and practice for 15 minutes every day. Boom. That's compounding, right? So what are those for you? Okay, so I mean, it's gonna depend on your goals, and we could talk about that. We might talk about that next week, goals. But this habits is what we're talking about, right? So what habits are you building? Like, for real. Where do you see yourself next year, and how can you start building habits and implementing habits to get you to that point? That's the whole point, right? So I want to encourage you with that today. Hopefully this is short, simple, and to the point. If you're finding value in this video, of course, consider subscribing, right? And then comment below. Let me know if you want more of this. Let me know what you liked about it. And maybe let me know what topic you want to discuss next week, okay? Because I'm trying something out here. I really want to encourage the producer community. I want to just bring, just encouragement, inspiration, and motivation, really, to help you grow, right? That's the whole point. We spend a lot of time with our dogs, like I said earlier, but we don't spend a lot of time talking about the things we need to talk about, which is really our minds, because everything stems from here, right? Everything. So hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you next week. Peace.